Okay, so in the previous class, we were learning about what are the different levels of planning, right? What are the different levels of planning? In any organization, the levels managerial levels will depend upon its size. Bigger the organization, more will be the number of levels, right? Smaller the organization, smaller will be the number of levels. Whatever the case may be, but according to management theories, there are three fundamental or three basic levels of planning. Okay, what are they? They are the top level planning, middle level planning, and lower level planning. So what is top level planning? Who does top level planning? Top level planning is done by the top level management. And what is the result of this planning? That is the strategic plans. Okay. Strategic plans. So what is this strategic plan? They clarify, they state the mission or the goal of the entire organization. So it's made for 2 to 5 years or even more, right? So the goals and objectives developed at the top level are further refined and put into action by the other levels of the planning. So they will set a goal. Okay, we are going to do this. We're going to achieve this, or we want to achieve this. Okay, and this plan, this objective, this goal, it's further refined. If there is something to add to it, the other levels will add. If there is something which we cannot achieve right now, they will say, cut it. Okay, they'll say it's not possible right now. We shall see in the next phase, like that. Okay. The second level of planning is middle level planning. What is middle level planning? Middle level planning means preparation of tactical plans. And who does this? The middle level management. And what is this tactical plans involved with or concerned with? It is how the resource of the organization will be utilized to achieve the goals. Okay. So these are developed to support the implementation of strategic plan. So strategic plan to aid to help the implementation of strategic plans, we need tactical plans. Okay, we'll say in a pen in the company, we are going to produce 1,000 pens in a day. We are going to produce 1,000 pens. So in tactical plan, we say okay, this department is going to produce 1,000 bodies. The next department B, is going to produce 1,000 caps. The third department is going to produce 1,000 refills. So for fourth department, they'll put all this together like that. So that's tactical plans. How are we going to do this? How the resource of organization will be utilized to achieve the goals. Okay. So this the time spans again 2 to 5 years. And here, as we have said, department A, department B, department C, department D. So each planning is oriented function at department levels rather than the whole organization. The whole organization is not concerned, but a particular department. Department A is concerned only with producing 1,000 bodies. Okay. The third level of planning is lower level planning. So what is the lower level planning? Lower level planning is the preparation of the production. It's management. So they do planning. These are the operation plans prepared. So department A. So department 1,000. How are they going? Department A is going to produce 1,000 bodies. That is decided by and total goal of 1,000 body department. 1000 body മാത്രമേ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. മൊത്തത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് 1000 പെൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. So that is concerned with preparing 1,000. Now this 1,000 bodies are prepared. That is decided at this level. How much money should be spent? All these things will be prepared for short term and maybe to be done with the tactical planning. Okay, what happens is when the condition changes, like the market is very good, so rather than producing 1,000 pens, we might need to produce 1,500 pens. So our operation plan will also change. Yes, the tactical plans will change. So market is very good. Product is moving very quickly. So more demand is there. So usually we produce 1,000 pens. Now we are going to produce 1,500 pens. Right? So the tactical plan changed. Again, according to our tactical plan is changing, we'll change our operation plan also. Right? Or maybe if, otherwise other thing may be also possible. That is our department is producing that's the market. So we need not have 1,000 pens. We will have 500. Right? So that's possible. Planning. What are the levels of planning? We have top level, middle level, and lower level. Okay. This must go in tune with the levels of management and classification plans according to the levels. Okay. And planning. Planning is continuous throughout the life of an organization. Interrelated step. Something any vehicle, you start planning. So planning is a lengthy process and a step-by-step approach is adopted. Right? Because planning is a very lengthy process. Follow. Being aware of opportunities. Okay. There is the manager should know. The manager should know that there is a opportunity there. Okay. So okay. That is the opportunities may come from external environment or from the organization itself. Okay. Managers have to see the opportunities clearly and completely, understand the feasibility of profiting from them, and have to answer why and how they expect to profit from the opportunity. Okay. First of all, managers should see, identify an opportunity. When it's bound, he should be able to see that. Then he should be able to clearly and completely understand about it. Okay. Not a portion. Okay. Like 2 weeks lockdown. Not like that. You must be able to see what will happen next. So clearly and completely. And understand the feasibility of profiting. If there's a certain scenario, what are we going to do? Right? And he must be able to answer. Okay. He must be able to answer to the stakeholders, to the owners, to the even to the employees, or might be from the outside, like those who have invested. That how he expect to profit and why. How and why. The step is and identifying the opportunities or being aware of the opportunities. The next step is establishing objectives. Okay? We saw an opportunity. First step is we saw an opportunity. Now we are going to establish the objectives. Like I say, we saw an opportunity to conduct a arts fest. Okay, between the college is given a permission to conduct an art fest between December or January, February. In Jan, February, and conduct an art fest. That's your opportunity. Now you need to establish the objectives. What are we going to do? The planning begins with the determination of what an organization wants to achieve during a specific period. Right? So availability of existing resource has to be considered for arriving at the objective. So one thing which you have in part is discussed. So how much can we get? Who can we get? So we have to pay them something. So how much can we get? Like that, we need to plan. The availability of existing resources has to be. So there are this much of students. We can get this much money. The management will give you this much of amount. So we can invite him or her. Like that. This is to be done for long term as well as short term. The organization objectives provide the base for department level objectives. Okay. Other thing will be you'll say we have a 2-day art fest. We have 2 days. Like that. So you have an objective. So you have 2 days. So you can split your works in 2 days. Or rather, if you have only 1 day, so you can have to include all the programs in 1 day. So you need to see that. So that will lead to the department level objectives. The next thing, developing premises. Okay. Planning premises are assumption about various elements on which plans have to operate. The plan is so premises are the factors facilitating and blocking the achievement. Okay. So what are they? So they can be internal and external. So they may help in our aim or they may block us. They may provide difficulty. So what are the premises? They can be external and internal premises. External premises are factors that influence the plan which are outside the firm, from out, external from the outside. So what are they? They are government policies, economic conditions, etc. Right? Like what are the government policies? The government is saying you cannot conduct a program like after this time. Economic conditions, how much money can we raise? Like that. The internal premises are factors that influence the plans which are inside the firm. Like what is the policy? So the college might have a policy that asks us has to be conducted only in one day, that is during class time only, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, you get that much of time. That will also have it. Then resource, how much of the money we'll have, how much can we spend, what are the, there will be so many constraints. Okay. So one another important term which comes under this is forecasting. Forecasting is important in promising. Forecast means prediction, assumption of future events, like weather forecasting. Yeah, assume we are predicting this will be the weather, right? So by using there are many forecasting techniques are there. So using these techniques, we can predict the future trends in a degree of accuracy, not 100%, but acceptable level of accuracy, with an acceptable level of accuracy, and utilize them for accomplishment of goals. Okay. First step four is identify alternate courses. Okay. So we know to reach, like our example to Kashmir. To reach Kashmir, we have many alternate courses. So we need to identify them. What are the alternate courses? Okay. The concept is to reach somewhere. Okay. To have many ways, right? Then the fifth step is evaluating the alternate courses. Once the first step is you have to identify the courses, then you have to evaluate each, whether by car or by bus, by train, by flight, whichever like that. You have to evaluate everything in a very strict manner. That is using the light of resources and objectives. Okay, number situation അനുസരിച്ച് you have to evaluate based on your situation. Right? Then the step 6, selecting the best course of action. What is the best thing? What is the best thing that can be done? It's the real point of decision. So we have decided we are going by bike. So that is the best course of action. We have decided. So that is decision making. Then establishing the sequence of activities. Now, once you have decided the course, no, we're going by bike. So we'll start at this time. We'll travel for this much total. We'll stop there. Like that, we need to plan the sequences. Okay? And then implement it. So I'll start 1 week from today. I start at morning 5. I'll reach there my destination point A by this much of time. I need to plan and then I need to implement it. Then once you have implemented it, you need to review the planning process. So once you've reached, you know that thing improves. If there is something to improve, that you should be improving. If there is something, there's nothing there, then follow that. The feedback mechanism, results obtained are periodically monitored and future plans are framed based on the reviews. Right? So what are the different steps in planning? So the question might come with an example. Okay, with an example, write about the first steps in planning. First step is being aware of the opportunities. Then the second step is establishing the objectives. Third step, developing premises. And the fourth step is identifying the alternate course of action. Then evaluating the alternate course of action, selecting the best course of action, identifying, evaluating, and selecting. Then establishing the sequence of activities, and finally reviewing. Okay, this is the okay, planning and steps in levels of planning and steps of planning. What you have to understand is question might come like write a note on the premises. Okay, what are the write a note on the premises of planning? Right? How reviewing the planning process will help. The question might come like that. Oh, example, and with the example, planning, right? I mean, think about an example. Question might be a suitable example like that, right? So today, what we're going to learn is this last topic, and the planning. What is the planning process? So in planning process, we have to management by objectives. Okay? One of the methods is management by objectives. There are many planning processes. The one which we need to learn is management by objectives, MBO. The question might come as write a note on MBO. Okay, so management by objectives is a comprehensive managerial system, complete system that integrates many key managerial activities in a systematic manner and is directed towards the effective and efficient achievement of organization and individual objectives. Okay. So what is management by objectives? Manage, okay. Manage everything. Many key managerial activities. See, we know like planning, organizing, staffing, so like that. Many organizations, many managerial activities are included in it. They are integrated. What do you mean? They are integrated and is integrated in a systematic manner. Okay. Other planning, you know, after planning, we need to do organizing. Like then staffing order. Understand? Not in haphazard manner. Okay. It's a systematic manner. All the managerial activities are integrated. And what are we doing? We are directing towards the effective and efficient achievement of organizational and individual goals. Right? Clear? So, management of objectives it's a comprehensive management system. The management system the process system management system. The comprehensive management system that integrates many key manager activities. Okay. ഒരുപാട് key ആയിട്ടുള്ള important ആയിട്ടുള്ള management activities integrated ആണ്. Okay. And it is done in a systematic manner. തോന്നിയമല്ല, a systematic, logical manner ആണ് ചെയ്യുക. And it is directed towards the efficient and effective achievement of organization and individual goals. Okay. This concept was popularized by one Mr. Peter R. Drucker. Okay. And this process is used for goal setting, planning, and performance evaluation. Okay. You can do for planning, you can set goal using this method. You can plan and you can perform. So what is the uniqueness? Uniqueness of this process is that the subordinates are involved. Okay, involved in the evaluation process by getting their own goals. Okay, so enable subordinates to get involved in the evaluation process by setting their own goals. Thus, it aims at ensuring active employment involvement in the planning process. Okay, so in a pen manufacturing company, okay, so we said we are going to produce 1,000 today. So top level management said we need 1,000 more pens daily. So they made a strategy. So the tactical plans made. Department A will produce 1,000 bodies. Department B will produce 1,000 caps. Department C will produce 1,000 refills, and Department D will combine them. So put them together into a pen. Like that, the tactical plan was made. Okay. Now in the operation level, Department A will say, okay, we have to produce 1,000 bodies. So employees A, B, and C, they will have to divide the work. A, B, C, D. So each has to produce 250 pens. Like the operation plan. So operation 250 bodies. That's the operation plan. Okay. So ഇതിന്റെ uniqueness എന്താ? ഇതിനകത്ത് ഓരോ എംപ്ലോയിക്കും എംപ്ലോയി A, B, C, and D ഓരോ എംപ്ലോയിക്കും പറയാം, see, they will say, I will produce this much of pen. I will produce this much of bodies. Okay. So they are getting involved in the evaluation process also. They are getting involved in the planning. They are getting in the evaluation. So when employee A says, no, I'll not 250, I'll produce 300 bodies. Okay, there's no problem, I can do that. Employee B may say, okay, I'm a new one, so I cannot produce 250, I'll produce 200. So they are participating in the evaluation. Okay. So enable subordinates involved in the evaluation process by setting their own goals. Right? Employee A said, I'll produce 300. Employee B said, sorry, I cannot produce 250, I'll produce 200. Like that. So they are setting their own goals. They are involved in planning. So ultimately, they'll have to produce 1000 prints, but they can produce 10. So MBO is basically a process where the superior and subordinate managers of an organization jointly identify the common goals. Okay, so what is the common goal over here? It is 1000 men, 1000 bodies. Define each individual's responsibility in terms of the result expected from him. Okay, so employee A has to produce 250, employee B 250, everyone has to produce 250. Okay? And use the objectives developed as a guidelines for operating the organization and assessing the contribution of each of the members. Okay, what is MBO? MBO is basically a process where the superior and subordinate managers of an organization jointly identify the common goals. We need to produce 1000 bodies, so each employee has to produce this much of bodies. Okay, define each individual's responsibility in terms of the results expected of him. So the employee can say, I can produce more, or I can produce even less. They have a chance. Okay, and use the objectives developed as a guidelines for operating organization. So if an employee says, I'll produce 300 prints, he must produce 300 prints. Okay, and assessing the contribution of each member. So what is the principle behind MBO? It's to make sure that everybody in the organization has a clear understanding of objectives of the organization as well as their own roles and responsibilities in achieving the same. Okay? Organization's role 1000 പെൻഡാണ്. So നമ്മുടെ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിന്റെ ഇത് ഉത്തരവാദിത്തം we need to produce 1000 bodies. So my responsibility is to make 300 bodies. Right? Like that. What is the steps? What are the steps in setting up a MBO? Okay. So what is the first step? First step is goal setting. The first step is clarify and set common goals of an organization. They determine the top management in consultation with other managers and translate it to every employee. Okay. As always, the top management will decide the goals. What are the goals they have to do, and that too is done with consultation with other managers. ടോപ്പിൽ നിന്ന് 2-3 ആളെല്ലാം തീരുമാനിക്കുക. അവര് ബാക്കിയുള്ള മാനേജേഴ്സിനോട് സംസാരിച്ചിട്ടാണ് ഇത് പോസിബിൾ ആണോ എന്ന് നോക്കിയിട്ടാണ് ചെയ്യുക. Right? So the Peter Drucker, he's one of the what he did, for the goal, he put an acronym. The goal will be specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time bound. That is, the goal should be smart. The goal should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be acceptable, it should be realistic, and it should be time bound. Okay. So Peter Drucker put an acronym known as SMART. So the MBO principle does not allow management to determine the objectives by themselves. First thing would say. എല്ലാവരും കൂടിയാണ് തീരുമാനിക്കുക. The second step is manager subordinate involvement. Okay, manager and employee. Next step. After the goals are defined, managers set the goals of subordinates. Okay, like we said, we need 1000 bodies. Manager said, okay, employee A, B, C, and D. So manager said, okay, everyone has to produce 250 minutes, 250 bodies. So subordinate propose their job and select the areas which they must be effective during the company plan. Okay, so everyone is involved in the goal setting. So they'll say, so sometimes people, the employee may say, sorry sir, I'm not good in this thing, preparing the body, I'm good in assembly. Okay, production അല്ല അസംബ്ലിയിലാണ് എനിക്ക് കൂടുതൽ കഴിവ്. So he's having an opportunity, he can propose his job. So sir, I'll be better in doing that. Right? So he can change from production to assembly, like that, and select the areas which they must be effective during the company plan. നമ്മൾ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് നേടുന്ന ടൈമിനുള്ളിൽ അവരെവിടെയാണോ എഫക്റ്റീവ് ആവുക അത് സബോർഡിനേറ്റ്സിന് പ്രപ്പോസ് ചെയ്യാം, എംപ്ലോയീസിനെ പ്രപ്പോസ് ചെയ്യാം. So everyone is getting involved. Then the manager and subordinate sit together, discuss the objectives, and reach on a joint agreement. Okay, so they will sit and they'll talk, they'll discuss. Not that I'm say, sorry sir, I'm not good at this. I'm not good in production. I need transfer to assembly. It's not immediate. They'll discuss. Okay, what are the pros? What are the cons? എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് ഗുണങ്ങൾ ദോഷങ്ങളൊക്കെ എന്ന് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യും. and reach on a joint agreement on the goals to be achieved by the subordinate during the stated time period. Okay. And then finally they will achieve. Okay, you are good. Okay, you can transfer. No, you must stay here like that. So appropriate changes in the organizational structure may be made. Also, when a person from production is going to assembly, a person from assembly is coming to production, like that, changes will be made and to be done in consideration of the subordinate. Employees must be consulted in resource allocation. Subordinates employees എന്ന രീതിയിലാണ്. Okay, you can take that meaning also. So resource allocation ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴും ഓരോരുത്തർ കൊടുക്കുന്ന സൗകര്യം, കൊടുക്കുന്ന എമൗണ്ട് ഇതൊക്കെ കൊടുക്കുന്നതും ഇതിനനുസരിച്ചാണ്. So making a person is making body, a person is making cap, a person is making a refill. So all these things are different. So the resource must not be equally distributed. They should be different. They should be distributed where it is needed more. Okay, എല്ലാവരും പണിയെടുക്കുന്നത് എല്ലാവരും ആയിരമാണ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നതല്ല. Okay, where resources are needed more, so the allocation must be done in that manner. Then the third step is implementation of plan. So after the objectives are established and resources are allocated, the subordinates can implement the plan. Okay. They start the work. If any guidance or clarification is needed, they can contact the supervisors. Right? Okay, so this is my plan. So I have done this. I can start. Then they have to monitor the progress. Okay, monitor the progress is really important. So MBO requires regular meetings between managers and the subordinate to discuss the progress of objective accomplishment. Okay, so that you'll prepare 250 bodies. No, you should have regular meetings, maybe daily, maybe in 2 days, maybe in a week. Every day possible, you will have to have a meeting and see that their objectives are accomplished or not. Then evaluate performance. The performance has to be evaluated. In the next step, the actual goal attainment is compared to the goals agreed upon. So I have said I prepare 300 bodies. So I will see what is the goal attainment, whether he has produced 300 or not. If he has produced 300, good. Okay. If not, we need to help him. Okay. It's not that we are going to fire him. We need to help him. So this step helps in determining possible training needs also. Okay. For some training, you might be able to do that. The one who is producing 200 pens, with a little bit more of training, he may be able to produce 300. Okay. So actual goal, agreed goal. Okay. Our different differences that agreed goal. Okay. Manager പറഞ്ഞു ചെയ്യൂ അങ്ങനെയല്ല, മാനേജറും എംപ്ലോയിയും രണ്ടുപേരും ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്ത് എത്തിയതാണ് ആ നമ്പർ. ഓക്കെ, അഗ്രീഡ് ഗോൾ, അതാണ് അഗ്രീഡ് ഗോൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So the performance appraisal is conducted based on the fair and measurable standards. Appraisal, your promotion, your bonus, etc. will depend, right? So that appraisal is also conducted in a fair and measurable standard. Standard, measurable standard based on number of bodies he produced, based on the quality of bodies he produced. Okay. Then step is providing feedback. Feedback enables managers to take appropriate actions, planning, corrective actions, and question is under result. Things be done. Okay. There's something to be changed, can change. Steps in MBO. First one is goal setting. That is, the step is clarify and set the common goals of an organization. Okay. Goal setting. The first step is to clarify and set common goals of an organization, and this goal should be SMART. That is specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic, and time bound. Okay. So these goals are set up by the top management by discussing with the other managers also. Okay. That is goal setting. The second step is manager subordinate involvement. Okay. So the goals are after the goals are defined. Each manager sets goals for subordinates. The organization goal is defined in order to rule. They will discuss. Okay. Manager will propose, subordinates will also propose. They will have a discussion, and after the discussion, each employee will get a role. Okay. So you can change, even you can change the organization structure also. ആരെവിടെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത് വേണം മാറ്റാം. Resource allocation is also done on basis. Then the plan has to be implemented. And the implementation, even if you're having a doubt, an employee is having a doubt, he can contact the superior. Okay. So I have this much doubt. I have this doubt. I only need this guidance. And anytime he can contact his superiors. The fourth step is monitoring progress. Monitoring progress is really important. And what they do is they have regular meetings between the manager and the subordinates, and see how is the progress going on. Is there any problem? Well, do we have to change anything? And then they will discuss the progress. Then evaluate performance. Evaluation is done based on the important things you need to understand is that word agreed upon. Okay, actual goal and goal agreed upon. നമ്മൾ നേടിയത് എന്താണ്, നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് നേടുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഓർഡർ തന്നതല്ല. മാനേജർ ഡിഡ്ന്റ് ഓർഡർ യു ടു ഡു ദിസ്. What the manager did was manager and you, both of you together sat down, discussed and decided the goal, right? So it is a goal agreed upon. This step helps in determining possible training needs also. And also appraisal will depend upon this. And appraisal should be done in a fair and measurable standards. Then feedback. Feedback enable managers to take appropriate actions, planning, and corrective actions for achieving desirable results. Right? Must be okay. Can I employees not able to produce as much, 1,000 is not a realistic number. Okay. Once we start doing it, we'll say, okay, we can produce more than 1,000. So can we do that? Like that, we take feedback. And it's all is shown in the flow chart. Okay. Block diagram. So whenever a question comes, if you can draw something, draw them. Okay. In McKinsey's diagram, okay, draw the chart. In this thing, even if the question doesn't say, draw this with the block chart or with the flow diagram, draw them. Okay, it will take hardly 2 minutes, right? So what is the first thing? It is the setting up of organization goal. You need to set the organization goal. Then superior, next to be superior will select the goal for subordinates. Okay. At the same time, subordinate proposes goals for his job. Okay. Superior പറയും, subordinate പറയും. Superior sets goal for a subordinate, and subordinate proposes goals for his job. Okay. So you need to produce this much of thing. Subordinate will say, so I'll produce like this. Okay, is it okay? Like that. So they'll have a discussion and joint agreement on subordinate goals. Okay. After discussing, they'll say have a joint agreement. Right? Once they have decided, they have a joint agreement. And then the implementation of plan. So based on the joint agreement, they'll implement the plan. Then they will monitor the progress, evaluate the performance, then provide feedback. And this feedback will again go to the organization goal. This feedback will help in setting in the organization goal. Clear? So the first step is setting of organization goals. Then the superior, the manager will say, manager will set a goal for the subordinate. Okay, so it's not done there. The subordinate also has a opportunity. Subordinate chance കൊടുക്കും. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ, നിങ്ങൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പറയാം. Subordinate propose goal for his job. Okay, and based on these two inputs, from the input from the manager and input from the subordinate, they'll have a discussion. They'll form a joint agreement. Okay, and based on the joint agreement, they'll implement the plan to reach the joint goal. Then they'll monitor the progress, evaluate the performance, and put in feedback. Right? Any doubts for you guys too? Any doubts? The next time ഒന്നുമില്ലടാ.